What's good, people? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house again. One more again. Just going to hit you with a little content here because it's Saturday. It's Roll Tide Saturday, and want to get y'all a little hyped up for the game. Game just kicked off. I just wanted to touch base with you. So before we get into it, we want to make sure that we do this because we didn't do this right last time when we did our video. So here we go. Now, I know you hear this one. Woo! Don't that make your blood just kind of pump just a little faster and the goosebumps just rise up on your arms and all that kind of stuff, man? That's good stuff, man. But look, man, I ain't gonna hold you long. I ain't gonna hold you. This Uncle Fred just want to touch base with you as we approach this big time game with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was and here's the keys to the game. The keys to the game. And the thing is, we want to approach the Vanderbilt game with what I call the appropriate fear. Okay. Because it's just like last year. Come off a big win against Georgia because of course we did because that's what we do. We beat Georgia, right? But you can't get the feeling too good about yourself. You don't want your arms being so long that you pat yourself on the back because there's another game the next week. And I know we thought Vanderbilt was somebody we could just line up and just throw that crimson colored jersey on the field and they would just lock up the women and children and whatever. This ain't your granddaddy's Vanderbilt. Okay. And we went in there sleepwalking and we walked away with a 40-35 loss. Okay. And we found out who Diego Pavlia was. And he ran and threw all over us. So this year, when they come down to Bryant Denny, we are going to have the appropriate fear. Understand, Vanderbilt is 5-0. They're not your granddaddy's Vanderbilt. They're not the Vanderbilt. And that lost last year was so bad. You know, your boy Uncle Fred was in high school the last time Vanderbilt had beaten Alabama, 1984. Last time we lost to Vanderbilt. So I didn't even know what it's like to lose to them, right? I went my whole adult life and never lost to Vanderbilt. And then we go up there after beating Georgia. And so we beat Georgia again this past week. And we go. But we get them in our building this time. And so we're gonna have the appropriate fear and we're gonna understand the opponent. Now Vanderbilt's 5-0. I'm gonna tell you who they beaten. They have beaten Charleston Southern, Georgia State, Virginia Tech, who just fired their coach because they off to such a bad start. The impressive win was against South Carolina. They went up into South Carolina, into Columbia, and beat them 31-7, knocking out Lenore Sellers. Okay. And then Utah State, I think they broke the 70-point barrier against them. So this game, it's a little bit of a step up in competition. It's a little step up in weight class, right? We ain't Charleston Southern. Okay. We not Utah State. We know Utah State. We've beaten them before. And obviously we're not Virginia Tech or anything like that. South Carolina's an impressive win. So I would match that South Carolina win versus our Georgia win, which is the more appropriate win. We go down to the hedges that what they ain't lost in 33 games. whoop them, never led in the game. And then, of course, they whooped South Carolina. South Carolina's an okay team. They're going to probably win 8, 9 games. Going down in between the hedges and beating Georgia is an accomplishment. So we got to have the appropriate fear when we go up into them. We got to know who Diego Pavlia is. Second thing is we got to control the line of scrimmage. We can't let them just run up and down the field against them like they did last year because we didn't know what to expect. Now we know what to expect. So what we got to do, we got to control the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. I know that's old school. People don't want to hear that right there. But yeah, we got to control the line of scrimmage, which means when we're on defense, our defensive ends can't over pursue. They got to stay, keep that pocket, around Pavlia, where he can't just take off and jump out the window. I think he rushed for like 100 and some odd yards. I think they rushed for 166 last year against us. Can't let that happen this year. Okay. Because when they do that, that opens the floodgates for all this other stuff. That means he can wink and dink you now once he knows he can just take off on you. Remember what happened when we placed Tommy's um Caslavia from Florida State. I know I ain't pronouncing his name right, but that should have been how we need to approach Pavlia when we saw him. So we got to control the line of scrimmage. Can't let them run out the. But see, the thing is, they got other weapons. See, and I got it listed here on my crawl here. Um, they got other people. Now, thing about them is they got three dudes that got 200 yards rushing, led by Diego Pavlia with 294 yards and 2 touchdowns. They also have Cedric Alexander, who has 46 carries for 243 yards and 4 touchdowns. And they also have Macklin Young, who has 20 carries and 211 yards, which means he's their speed guy because he has over 10 yards a carry. We don't have a single running back on our staff with 200 yards, and they got three, including the quarterback. So we definitely got to watch the run. But when they run is get stopped, they got three receivers too, led by their tight end Eli Stowers has 22 catches for 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. Who's a junior, and then you got Junior Sherrill, who's 17 catches, 226 yards, and 5 touchdowns. We don't have nobody with 5 touchdown passes. And then you also got Vanderbilt averaging 494 yards a game on offense, and they've scored over 31 points a game. Now we're countering that with Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson has 1,138 yards, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. We following that up. We really don't have any running backs with any real numbers. I know we got Ken Riley. We've definitely got to run the ball more today than we have been. But we got Jam Miller, who was hurt first couple of games of the season. I think he's got like 20 carries for like 40 some odd yards. But we got to get him on track. We know he's our guy from past years. We got to run the football. Definitely got to run the football. So that's how we control the clock. Now, Vanderbilt is very susceptible through the air. They've got the 88th ranked pass defense through EPA and all that advanced metrics crap, right? Which I don't really, but I just know out of 100 and some odd 30 whatever in Division 1 schools, if they're 88, that means they're towards the bottom. That means we should throw the ball more. But the reason I want to run the ball more because that controls the clock. That keeps Diego Pavlia off the field. That keeps our defensive line from having to curtail him because that's a job, right? But if we control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, keep the chains moving, I think we keep them off the field. Okay. So you put all that in the mixer. Alabama is going to win this game. I don't know if by hook, by crook, however, Alabama is going to win this game because the number one factor that we're going to have in our advantage is the revenge factor. Yeah, I know the appropriate fear, the controlling the line of scrimmage, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all fine. Throw that out the window. Revenge factor. Them guys embarrassed us last year. Okay, they really did. That was when they start talking about the loss, I know the Oklahoma loss at the end of the season was a little more because they weren't a good team. Vanderbilt at least did go to a good bowl game, but nobody expected us to lose to Vanderbilt. I mean, nobody expected us to lose to Vanderbilt. All right, and we lost to Vanderbilt, and they was just running the ball up and down the field on us. Okay, so the revenge factor is the key. The revenge factor that we get you guys in our house this time. All right. We ain't going up I-65 into Nashville. Y'all coming down I-65 into Tuscaloosa, into Bryant Denny. Okay. And so as we close this video, because I want to get in here and watch the game, but I didn't think it was fair for me to not give you my pre-video on the game because I felt like, you know, Bama needed that or deserved that by virtue of what they did last week by that win over Georgia. And I'm like, yeah, that's we serious now. We serious. Okay. So my prediction for the game against Vanderbilt. Drum roll, please. Alabama 37, Vanderbilt 24. Alabama moves to 4-1. Vanderbilt slides to 5-1. You better know that. Because it's roll tide, baby. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this thing one more time. Woo! Roll Tide. Man, I haven't watched it. I see Vanderbilt and jumped on the scoreboard first. It's all right. It's a 60-minute game. Don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Alabama is gonna whoop that today. Okay. Take that from Uncle Fred. But that's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. Roll Tide, people. Roll Tide all day, every day.